We're here with Gail Elia of the Texas Discovery Gardens here at Fair Park. Gail, what are we looking at here? We've got some bugs and all kinds of different stuff. Let's
Here we have some creatures from the gardens. These are some of the good creatures and some of the bad creatures. This here is an example of an African millipede. Our local millipede is not nearly this size, but it's beneficial. They feed on decaying material. Over here we have some compost material, and we can see how it has apples, food, newspapers, and then we have all kinds of helpful creatures that eat our garbage and turn them into soil. Another creature we have here is a ground beetle right here. This ground beetle was the one that you saw earlier this spring feeding on the caterpillars that turned into all that horrendous variety of moss. Here they feed through the soil, and they feed on insect larvae and all kinds of creatures like that. Another garden critter that people tend not to like is this black widow here. It's here with this egg sac, and it'll be guarding that. These often are found in overhangs or in wood piles, so this is one of the garden creatures we want to be careful of. But on the whole, there are a lot more interesting, beautiful, and helpful creatures in the gardens than there are ones we need to be aware of.
So most of these are creatures which are found here around locally.
Right, all these are, except for the millipede, these are all local creatures. Your garden's really full of life beyond the flowers that live there. The insects live in community with the plants, and they have a helpful relationship with each other.
Now I've got to ask, you brought out the black widow. Where do these things like to live? Because a lot of people worry about that.
They live both inside and outside. They're usually found in undisturbed places like in overhangs and eaves in garages, but they can also be found like in stored wood outside, or if you have something stacked in a corner, they like undisturbed areas.
Watch where you put your hands, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Scorpion here, we like to occasionally bring out the exotic creatures.
Oh, wow.
Even though this is a big, scary looking scorpion, it's actually less venomous than our local scorpion. And I bet we have somebody over here that will take it out and hold it for your camera. But believe it or not, you'd rather be stung by this than our local scorpion, because our local scorpion, because it's smaller, has a more toxic venom. Something this big can crush its prey, where our local scorpion has to sting it to kill it.
See those nice big pinchers it's got.
Yeah. That's why they always use these for movies, because they just they're easy to work with.
Let's see what else we have. We have some aphids and some harvester caterpillar that feed on aphids. They're the only carnivorous caterpillars around.
Where are the aphids?
The aphids are these little yellow animals on there. They're pretty small.
Tell us a little bit about the butterflies here.
There's a number of butterflies in Dallas. In fact, the Dallas County Lepidoptera Society supports activities of people who are interested in collecting, raising butterflies. So we're really lucky that Texas has such a large number of butterflies. If you're thinking about butterflies, you don't only need to think about what nectar plants for the adults, but what plants for the caterpillar. So we must have host plants for the caterpillar as well as nectar for the adults. And out in the gardens, you'll see examples of both nectar plants and host plants.